I'll mute myself.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Monday. So I hope everyone out in Facebook land is having a great Monday and had a wonderful weekend. As I'm trying to multitask and let someone in. Okay, Patricia. Okay, Patricia, are you the host?
Yeah, I got her.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. There's Miss Halley.
Hi, everybody. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Good. Are we live on Facebook yet?
We are live on Facebook and ready to rock and roll. Again, I love your hair.
Thank you. It's bang time.
It is bang time.
It's my fall quarantine cut where I feel like, you know, most people just chop their hair off, which is what I do every year. But this year I just decided to go with the side sweep.
The side sweep is gorgeous on you.
Thank you.
All right, so looks like our topic for today is prepping your CMA for your listing presentation, right? So basically, what are we gonna sell this dang house for, right? And how are we gonna go about finding out how much it's worth, what's the history, how much they pay for it, how am I gonna prepare for it? So shall we kind of dive in and just pick a listing? I actually picked an expired listing in a very popular gated community here in Calabasas called the Oaks. And if you want me to share my screen, oops.
Yeah, that sounds great, Steph. And I think even before we get started, I was having a conversation with one of my agents the other day, and it's important to understand, what is a CMA and when can I use it? So we so commonly as realtors think of CMAs when we're going on a listing appointment, right? We're getting ready to take a listing. We're going to run all the market analysis of the area. But in reality, this is a great tool for you to use with your buyers as well. When you're sitting with your buyer's consultation and they send over a property or two that they fell in love with, it's a great way to gain knowledge and trust with your clients because it's showing your ability to be able to assess data and make a educated recommendation based on that data, right? So when you have all these clients running around writing offers, sometimes we're hearing now 50, 60 plus offers on a property before they even write in their offer. Let's say they want to lowball it or something. Run also going to be able to help you there to give them that realistic idea of what the market's actually doing. So just because you don't have a listing doesn't necessarily mean that you can't utilize this tool as well. So thanks, Stephanie. I just wanted to give that little disclaimer before you shared because we so often as agents don't practice CMAs or especially when you first start real estate, you kind of get into, oh, well, I don't have a listing. I'll figure it out when I get one. But in all reality, this is something that's a very valuable tool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that you brought up about, you're absolutely correct. CMAs are not about just the listing, because we perform it all the time. And it's funny because I was helping a past client yesterday and I'm just like, okay, they're purchasing, but I was like, let me run a CMA for you, right? Because it's all about education. Remember, we educate, inform, and serve. So you do have to find out, okay, what is this house really worth? And if we're in a multiple offer situation where most of the time we are, right? Then you have full knowledge of, okay, is the market going to catch up to me if I pay 50,000 over? Am I willing to pay that 50,000 over? Or maybe they've just priced it aggressively and it's actually, if I pay 50 over list price, maybe it's actually at market value then, right? So you just never know what the real number is, because they say the market is determined by what the buyers will pay, right?
Absolutely, Steph. And I think so much now, listing agents, it's a tactic that we coach on, right? Underpricing your listing to be able to gain more buyer interest, which can mean higher offers. So when your client's looking that they're paying 50K over list price, maybe it was listed really low. Maybe they're only paying 10, 20K over, when in reality in their brains they're thinking it's 50 over, when that property should have been priced a little bit more reasonably, and it was more of a negotiation tactic, sales tactic. So
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and we're the real estate professionals, right? We are here to gain give them as much knowledge as we can, and the statistics. It's all about the data, right, that we're sharing with them, and we have to prove, because sometimes the seller and or buyer feel like they know more than we do, because there is a lot of information out there. So that's why it's important that we talk to you guys on it. We remind you guys on a daily basis to make sure you understand what's happening in the market, see what the trends are, and on a macro and a micro level, right? So in these particular areas, what's trending in that one, what's trending over here, and then, in Los Angeles County, Ventura County, whatever county that you happen, Orange County, whatever county that you happen to be working in. So I don't have Facebook up, so I don't know if there's any.
Oh yeah, I'm watching it. We're good. Yeah, we're good. And just if you guys are watching, just a reminder, if you have any questions, please drop them in the box below. Stephanie and I will get to them, right when we can.
All right, awesome. So if you can remind Patricia to allow me to share my screen.
Yeah, absolutely. She should be
awesome.
sitting here. I will shoot.
Okay, you're good. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. All right. No worries. Thank you. Yeah. So when you're preparing for, the CMA or the comparative market analysis, right? It's all about, remember, we have to ask questions, right? And I know that we've gone over this before, find out why they're selling their property. It's all that pre-qualification to find out, make sure that they are where their expectations are in the whole scheme of things. Like, what's your main reason for selling the property? What price do you want to sell your home for, right? And then how did you determine that price? And then what do you owe on the property, right? Because when you are preparing for your CMA, also you want to make sure that they have enough equity in their property, which a lot of people do, right? Most everybody does. A bigger percentage do have equity in their property, but you want to make sure, you never know. There could all of a sudden be a second that they pulled out, and that can soak up some of that equity. But you want to be able to prepare a net sheet, so then okay, at a 6% commission, paying off this, doing their property taxes, blah blah blah. Make sure that there's enough money to be able to facilitate that and actually sell. What are the homes that impact, or what are the features that impact the value, right? Because a lot of times, most of the time, you guys are going over and doing a CMA, and you may not know, right, on your listing presentation, the benefits and the negatives of the house, the pros and cons. So if you can at least get that information out of them, because I know a lot of us go with a range, perhaps based on whatever the condition of the property may be, etc. So should we dive in and kind of see what it looks like when we get into the MLS?
Absolutely. Let's see your beautiful property you picked out.
Okay, where did it go? Okay, let me go here. Okay, so let me go over here. Okay. Okay, everybody. So what I did was I picked this one property. It just expired, right? So what I want you guys, when you guys are preparing for it also, and Halley, please jump in at any moment. What was interesting is after I was digging into this a little bit, of course I scroll through the pictures. I'm like, oh, it's so pretty, blah, 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 right? All that kind of stuff. But look it was a 14-day listing. This person took the listing for 14 days. right? So I found that interesting. So was this person, you know, what I would love to know the story behind a 14-day listing, unless he just said, okay, I have this particular buyer. I mean, it could be anything, right? It could be a whole host of things. And then a lot of times when, especially if it's an expired, I would go into the history, right? Check on the history just to see what's been going on with this bad boy, right? So it was originally listed for 2.85 in March of 2015, 5 years ago. And then this guy, the sellers have been trying to sell it at this 3.799 since last November, almost a year.
And look at this. It's in a couple month increments here. That's a hold and active and
Yep. Yep. So it's always interesting. So it's like, okay, what is the story, right? So when you're having these conversations and confirming your appointment, just like, hey, I see what's been going on here for a period of time. What is, so are they looking to cash out and just try to take advantage of the market, right? And they really don't care whether they sell or not, or what's the deal? Because this person here bought it for 2.4 million on January 28th, 2016, right? And then what, 3 years later? Oh no, so it's a year, yeah, almost a year. So almost 4 years later, they're trying to see this kind of a profit. Does that make sense? Okay, so then, so we have the listing, we looked at the history, then we also want to take a look at the tax, right? Okay, because we want to make sure that we're talking to the right people. Okay, are we talking to the right owner? Yes. Do they live there? Yes, because the owner name and the mailing address is the same. Their estimated value based on, this is anywhere from 3.279 to 4.26. I mean, it's crazy how these things work. But anyway, so it gives you the tax information, and then it also lets you know, again, what they purchased for it. They sold it, they went into contract on December 1st, 2015, and closed escrow on January 27th, 2016 at 2.4. Do you have any other comments that you want to share on making sure that they check out the tax records and such?
no, I mean, I think that's great. You're right. It's important, the tax records, because you never really know why something sold or why something didn't sell. Sometimes in this instance, I think it's really interesting that it was listed and then active and then hold, and that definitely changes the pricing of a property. You have to remember that and think about that, urgency or a divorce or a death in the family or whatever it may be may reflect on the price. So just make sure you have all those things that Stephanie's doing here. I think it looks great.
Okay, awesome. So here we have the listing. So now we want to see, especially in this particular community, and that's why when you guys go on a listing, when you set a listing appointment, if you're able to drive by the property, drive by the property. I know in Calabasas, we have 16 plus, gated communities. So we don't necessarily have the luxury to go into all the different ones if you're looking in a gated community. What was I gonna say? So you either drive by or just get whatever information that you can from it, but be aware of the community. So like even in the Oaks, right? So we have behind the first gate, then you have behind the second gate. So when you're doing these comps, you want to make sure you map out the area that will be close, that will be closer to determining what the price would be.
Yeah, and there's no set, we get that question a lot. There's no set, 0.5 miles or, 4 city blocks. There's no set, good rule of thumb. And so, like Stephanie said, try to match like with like models, like areas, like streets, things like that, because, there isn't a good rule of thumb, but try to match like with like.
Yeah, so then I'm just writing some stuff down. So what I like to do too is go to map. Okay, so we can see, whoopsie, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, which ones here? Okay, it didn't show me exactly which one. Oops, sorry guys. My mouse is a little sensitive. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just jump to the address here, 3950 Prado del Mariposa. Okay, so right here. So a lot of times if you have the address, you can do in your search over here is jump to address, so it goes specifically to it, right? So now I can map out a little bit more the area in which I want to look, right? So up in this area would be, oh wait, where am I? Nope. Up in here is where we have more of the higher end up here behind the second gates. But let's say just for shits and giggles, right? We're going to just map out because I want to give you guys the general idea. So we click on your little polygon. Do you do this, Halley?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say we're going to just map out where we want to be in a certain area of what's coming soon, active, pending, under contract, closed, expired, all that kind of stuff. So let's say it's due, so he's here, let's just do this, right? For those of you that work in the Oaks, you know, please don't hold me accountable for exactly the mapping here. We're just gonna do, okay, we're just gonna draw it out, right? We'll just go up here. We'll just go around. We're just doing this is just to show you how to do it. Okay.
And this is a great way, again, show your area knowledge when you drive the area. I know gated communities, it's a little bit more difficult, but you know, drive the area and so you know where to cut those polygon shapes off, you know, to leave out a certain neighborhood or street or tract that maybe is not like to your comparables.
Yeah, for sure. And so we want to know, okay, inside this little polygon, what's been going on, right? Let's just say for the last 60 days. And let's just see what's expired last 60 days. Why not, right? Okay. So then we look, and what do we have here? Right? So this is all the activity that has been going on over the last 60 days in the Oaks area, right? Or in the neighborhood that would be comps for you, right? So you can just kind of collectively do that. If you wanted to do the criteria and get more specific, like as to, you know, bedrooms, bathrooms, etc., you can do that, or just look through, because sometimes, especially in, you know, where they're custom homes or different things, I kind of like to look through them and see this way, but everybody does, I do it general and then I bring it down a little bit more. But whatever, if you want to be specific, like, okay, I'll do, because this one's 5388 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 6 bath on a 20,000 square foot lot.
Yeah,
right?
and that 32 million one probably wouldn't count, right? So you could probably take that off of there.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, should we look at what the 32 million one looks like? But right, so then you would just be clicking on then the ones that you know would be comparable. So obviously this is, where's the one that expired? This one didn't expire, but what have you, so you have all these different ones and you want to see, okay, so we have this Prado del, Trigo, make it sound good, right? So we're checking to see, so this is a 6 bedroom, 6 bath, 5,000 square feet. So this would probably be a good comp here, right? Even though it's active, kind of see. So you're always picking too to see, what, like it's been on the market for 158 days. The lot size is considerably smaller, right? From it's 12,000 square feet compared to the 20,000. Built it's a little bit newer than the other one. The other one's built in 2003. But remember, you can use actives. So this one's been on the market for so long, and you can use that too as a point where it's like, okay, there's either something wrong with this property or it's way overpriced. They've been reducing, they're chasing the market, right? To where they considerably overpriced it, and they keep reducing the price to be able to see if they can catch a buyer, right? So you always can tell the story of their competition based on days on market, days on price, etc. So like this is one that just came on the market here, 0 days, right? 15,000 square feet, built in 2006, but it's 6,200. So it's 5,388 compared to 6,200. So you may just want to look at it and see, because obviously that's not one that's going to be comparable, but it lets them know, because you always want to have houses that are better than theirs, just like theirs, and not as good as theirs. So here's one at 5,336 square feet, right? 5-bedroom, 5-bath. When did a price reduction down to 3.675? So that would be a good one, right? It's been on the market for over 2 months, just listed in September. Wait. It says 67 days on market. Sorry, I'm just looking at all this information. But as you can see, this is like a real life thing where we're looking through the properties, trying to check it out, see which one would be good fits, not good fits. Here's another 5.6, 5145. This one has sold, right? Oh, it just closed back on. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong screen and I don't have my glasses on. So it was on the market for over 2 months, but it's sold. It sold at the beginning of September. Yeah, so what other square feet we have? Like these guys are the big bad boys, 10,000, 12,000, 16,000. So we have this one here, 67 is considerably larger. That's interesting. This 5323 is at 4.9 million.
See, I think you could almost even include that God, it's so hard to read the numbers and all the streets sound the same.
Yeah.
That one down there at the bottom, the 4.6 million one, because it's 5-bedroom, 6-bath. And really, I mean, that's your subject property is that same bed bath count. So you could almost use that one as a comp because it is active, because you're going to look at, what's your competition on the market? I mean, obviously it's priced, a little bit over what they expect, but it might be good to use it.
Yeah, so you can let them know. And obviously then once you pick the ones, because it is 6,745 square feet. However, and then you want to go in and look through the pictures, get knowledgeable about what's going on, and then also even give the listing agent a phone call, right? They may be able to share, some listing agents share information and some not so much, right? But you have a couple actives in here and a couple solds, right? And you want to be able to speak to the story, because there's a chance, I mean, not so much with COVID that the people that you're going to go, your listing appointment has seen the house, but you never know, right? You just don't know what they know. So it's best that you get as much knowledge about it as you possibly can. Okay, so obviously these aren't, like I said, do not hold myself nor Halley to what the price is going to be. We're just doing it just to show you what to do. We're not digging in too deep on what should be, but it just gives you an idea hey, look, I'm looking for a bed bath, I'm looking for like, I'm looking for a little bit better, I'm looking for not so good, etc. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's say these are the ones that you want to add into your comps, right? For your CMA. So now what do? We want to do, for purposes of being inside the MLS, we want to go to Cloud CMA and just kind of see what these prices come up with. Shall we do that?
Yeah, this is easier, and not a lot of people know this little shortcut. I mean, I didn't know it for a long time until you could go in there, rather than a lot of people go in and do the Cloud CMA first and then pick their comps from the program, but you can do it this way as well, and it makes it really easy.
Yeah, it really helps. So just click on the Cloud CMA. Okay, so we'll do Mr. and Mrs. Oaks, okay? So you put their name in. I didn't necessarily, sometimes it auto-populates. So we'll do 3950 Prado del Mariposa. Right? So then if it's in there, it will put the information in there of your subject property, 5388 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 6 bath, residential, etc. And then what I would also do is pull one of the photos, right? Just for purposes of your CMA, and add that there, or, or drive by, take your own picture, etc. But remember, the pictures that were used previously cannot be used on your new listing. So I don't want you to misconstrue anything that I'm saying. Okay, so now we have fetch your listings, right? So it auto-populated all the listings that I checked off. So now we want to go ahead and have them fetch the listings. Okay. So here we are, right? Fetch the listings, etc. Closed. We have 2 closed, 2 actives, low, median, average, high. So now we want to go and customize the report. Okay, now remember we talked about your theme, right? So definitely this is a luxury property, right? So just to make sure all of you, when you guys go into Cloud CMA, that you have our listing presentation in here. So we have KW Ford Living, which is just, our regular logo, and then we have KW Ford Living Luxury. Okay, so we want to make sure that we utilize that theme, those themes in there, because it's all the different pages, like the KW Concierge, all that stuff is in there with our logos. Okay, so now you guys can always pick and choose what you want to have in your report, right? In your CMA that you're providing for them. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave all this stuff as it is so you can see. But like I said, it's easy for you to, pull out, it's like, I'm not going to do a cover page. Oh, I'm not going to do whatever it is that you don't want to do.
It's important for you to know what the pages look like too. So just make sure before you create these CMAs, run a mock one and look at all the pages to figure out what do you like, what do you not like, maybe what do you want to brand to be able to add to your CMA later, which you can easily print a sheet and then add it in there and then scan it as a PDF. So just familiarize yourself with what those pages are saying, because there's a lot of really valuable data on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you always customize to what type of client that you're going to go see, right? Because some are, some may want the full thing, some may only want just a handful of pages, right? So just make sure that you are utilizing, what is appropriate. And like Halley said, exactly what's in there for you to choose from. Okay, so I'm just waiting for it to publish. Okay, so remember guys, you can view it as a PDF. We should have music in the background.
You missed it the other day. We had the Jeopardy music going on, and I didn't know that the Jeopardy song's actually like 7 minutes long.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, so the PDF came out. That's so funny. Page 1.
Oh,
Huh, interesting.
did you unclick one of the buttons maybe accidentally?
I unclicked cover letter. Yeah, so it popped, but I thought the cover letter was something else. So anyway, yeah, so it's interesting. So we have, but you guys can see that we have all the different flyers in there. So it talks about the concierge, you know, before and after, and you can see the Keller Williams Luxury International logo that is there. So you can see how crisp and clean this is. And also, I mean, it's just, you know, if you print these out on the glossy pages or get the actual listing presentation booklets together, it's a very classy material. Okay, hold on. Okay, so you can do it as a PDF, or if you want to, while you're there, you can just do a live version of it. So it's fetching the listings, all this kind of stuff. So now we have the comparative market analysis this way for this particular property. So it gives them information. So they're able to click it however they want and goes into the comps, right? The information, you can click on it. Here, I keep having to move all this stuff over. Right, so it gives the particulars of the property. It closed at 3.675, 5 bedrooms, 6 bath, 5,336 square feet. Gives the details. It asks if there were any adjustments, etc. So you can see that it is a very nice layout for the for your presentation. That's a pretty picture. Right, so this one's the active one for 4.6, 5 bedrooms, 7 baths, 2006, 4 garages, 17,000 square foot lot, 6,745 square feet. Okay. So then you go into the average pricing. So for those that are analytical, want the different graphs, you can have them, average days on market, etc. So it's pretty, you know, having these tools, you know, Cloud CMA or Dash CMA, etc. It's just a great way. It just makes our life so much easier in putting comps together and figuring out what is available and what's not available. So it's pretty, I don't know, it's pretty cut and dry. Like I said, it's really just mapping out where you're looking, what area, putting the criteria in, and then just going through and just gathering your information and getting as knowledgeable as you can about what the competition is and where you should price the house based on sight unseen. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I'm saying and call those agents, you know, call those agents that have stuff active or pending, you know, and don't give away all the information. Don't give away all the goods, but say, hi, I'm curious. I'm looking at your property on 1234 Main Street because I can't say these fancy Prado del blah, blah, blah streets. I just, I love your property. I love the pictures. I'm curious, how did you come about the price of the property? Have you received any offers yet on the property? If something's pending or active under contract, ask them how, how quickly did this happen? Was this easy? Where are your sellers going? Where are the buyers coming from? Because then when you go to present that CMA that Stephanie just showed us how to put together, you can then tell your clients more information than what's even on the paper. Say, oh yeah, I talked to the agent down the street and they said, this property was priced under because the clients had to move out of state. Or, we priced this property at this price, but we had 40 offers over asking. So it can give you that extra level, again, of service and data, because that's something that our consumer doesn't always have access to, that they can't always have access to on Zillow or Redfin. It's your brain, it's that knowledge, and it's that know-with-all to be able to surmise like a very competent recommendation in regards to pricing. And remember, your seller is pricing the property. You are giving them informed, educated data, and you're trying to help them come to an informed, educated decision. But at the end of the day, it still is your client listing that property. So just keep that in mind, that we need to be able to help guide them to the right decision. We're not going in and giving them a flat number. I never suggest doing that, because again, there's way too many variables to be able to have a flat number like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You want them to own the price, not you. Because if you're, I mean, there'll be sometimes when, depending upon where the seller wants to go, that, you guys will have a discussion of where it should be. However, ultimately you want it to be, the seller's decision. Otherwise it will be totally your fault, but you definitely give them the information. That's why you want stuff as close to their property, stuff that's a little bit better that they can see. And you're asking questions when you're presenting at the listing presentation. You're asking them questions about it, so it's guiding them. Like, have you seen this property? Oh, this one has 1,300 more square feet than your home, right? Point out to certain things, because really it's you either push the envelope in price and go above the market, or you price it at fair market value, or you create a buyer frenzy and price it below fair market value, right? So just all depends. And, just take them through each one. And like I said, always ask them, well, have you seen this property? Have you been there before? So then you know, right? Because you don't want to get caught in, just always being truthful, always be honest, whether you've seen the property or not. Like Halley said, have those conversations with the listing agents to where you're able to gather enough information to assist them in making an educated decision.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love that. How about any questions, you guys? I just put that on Facebook. Questions. Or are you CMA pros by now?
Probably they're just like, Stephanie, we got this down.
I have a feeling the ones that ask questions aren't watching this right now, and they'll probably watch the replay. And when you do, make sure you call Stephanie and I, and we can help you, or one of your coaches. Yeah, this is great. I mean, thanks for running us through the Cloud CMA. Dash CMA is another fantastic tool. I think we need to have a class on it again. It's been a while since we have gone through Dash CMA. Most of your offices use that as well, or you have access to that, which is a really fun virtual platform. So, what else can we do to prep for a CMA? Just let's kind of run through some of those highlights, Stephanie. So, we look in the area, we do a custom search. We use the polygon tool is the best tool to be able to use, rather than like a round shape or a square shape. It's a little bit easier to segregate things by, street or neighborhood. Make sure you are driving the area before you run your CMA, so you're familiar with the neighborhood and the territory that comes with your subject property. Take a picture. That's something else we do, right? To snap
Mm-hmm.
a little photo for the front. It always really impresses sellers when you go in because it proves to them that you've been in the area and you've actually seen the property versus pulling it straight from the MLS. Because remember, if it's been listed before, the actual photographer and the prior listing agent own the rights to that photo. So don't just pull the photo from the MLS because you could be opening yourself up for a lawsuit. Yeah, and then so, Stephanie ran us through some of the steps there. Call all listing agents and pass closed. It's going to give you a much more informed decision when it comes to your actual pricing, knowing why something is a certain price, knowing why something was 100 days on the market or 7 days on the market is, again, really important information that your sellers probably don't have access to. So how about any other tips or suggestions, Steph?
No, just make sure that like I said, if the house has been listed before, always check, that one was an expired one. So that was easy, right? So if you just happen to be calling or a friend of yours is like, oh my God, I got to sell my house, still pull up to see if it has any history in the MLS, right? So you can be able to gain as much data as you can. And then always pull the tax records, the property profile, right, from your title or in Real List, just to make sure that you're talking to the right owner and that you have the accurate square footage based on, tax assessor, what have you. So there's just a lot of bits of information. I'll let you know how much that they paid on the property as well, because you will, when you're doing your net sheet, that's something that if escrow is doing it for you, or if you're doing it yourself through your title app, you need to know because the property taxes are based on their purchase price. So if they bought it, 10 years ago or so like that, it's not based off the sale price of what they'll be owing on their taxes. So it's just gathering all those little bits of information to make sure that you're fully prepared for your listing presentation, etc. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And Patricia has shared with us that we actually are having a Dash CMA updates class. So best
Right.
CMA tool. We have Karen Abram with us. That's on the 13th of this month at 11 a.m. So join us if you want to learn something besides that cloud CMA, which a lot of us agents have always used. This is kind of something new and exciting. And I think it provides really good information. So join us on the 13th if you want to hear more about how to run that program and some of the new updates that they've had.
Yeah, for sure. Karen's just, a smart cookie for sure. She's the creator and founder of Dash CMA, one of our agents, one of our own, and it's pretty exciting. So she's definitely check in with her on the 13th, and she'll just take doing your CMA to a whole new level for sure.
Awesome. Well, that's it. I don't see any questions. So we must have pros on here. So thank you guys all for joining us today. I'm Halley Wright, and this is Stephanie Alatorre. We appreciate your time learning a little bit more about CMAs than you did before you started this class. So any last words, Steph?
No, just go out there and get some listing appointments, everybody.
Great. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Have a good rest of your week, and we will see you at the team meeting.
All right. See you Wednesday. Bye.